Konnichiwa minasan. Kyo desu. So, very interesting video today. I'll be looking at a video by the YouTuber Paul Joseph Watson, and the video is called China Declares Wars on Simps. Basically, Paul Joseph Watson is a very famous political commentator. And on the topic of China, I personally believe that China is becoming a threat to a lot of countries. I know Japan probably feels the pressure of China's taking over, of buying a lot of land in different countries. They're buying land in the Caribbean, they're buying land in the United States, they're buying land in Africa. China is really trying their best to become the forerunner in the world stage. They're trying to be the #1 superpower to pass the US. But on this specific video, I know I've talked about masculinity a lot on this channel, but China is doing some very interesting methods to improve masculinity in their country. So I don't want to talk too much. So without further ado, ikimashou.
While Western masculinity continues to be subverted by degeneracy, demoralization, porn, and the total collapse of self-respect, the world's primary competitive global superpower is taking a very different approach. China has declared war on Simps. China's version of Twitter, Weibo, is banning scores of popular K-pop stan accounts for engaging in, quote, irrational star-chasing behavior. The government's internet censor, the Cyberspace Administration of China, is vowing to clean up the, quote, chaos that encourages young people to donate to celebrities online. Breaking news, the CCP just cancelled simping. I repeat, the CCP just cancelled simping. All online pop star fan clubs have been shut down. 4,000 influencers got obliterated. User contribution button got removed from TikTok and other platforms. It's all part of a move to, quote, purify cyberspace and crack down on behavior that contradicts the country's values. While in the West, the likes of Twitch ban the very use of the word simp as an insult, China is banning actual simps. The irony underscoring all this is the fact that TikTok is owned by ByteDance, which is partly owned by the Chinese government. TikTok is the gateway drug to OnlyFans, the cancerous Death Star around which every simp hopelessly orbits. Top OnlyFans creators have highlighted how TikTok helped transform them from rat race wages to wealthy online superstars. User Goth Egg revealed how she went from viral fame on TikTok to making $200,000 a month on OnlyFans within the space of just 5 months. For the simp, it's a short leap from watching some scantily clad influencer jiggle her tits around on TikTok to be willing to pay for more sordid content on OnlyFans to satiate their increasingly addictive obsession. And this race to the bottom of the sewer pipe is increasingly impacting younger kids. A Wall Street Journal investigation found that when you said you were 13 years old and searched for OnlyFans on TikTok, the algorithm delivered videos about porn and drugs. Now for the kicker. The version of TikTok that people in China see is completely different to the one we're exposed to in the West.
Yep.
And I'm not just talking about Beijing censoring anti-China political speech. While the Western version of TikTok's algorithm will bombard you with endless opportunities to simp over e-girls shaking their ass in time to a looped musical earworm, for the Chinese, the experience is somewhat divergent. On the Chinese TikTok, you can't see hoes twerking or fatties showing off fat, because China bans degeneracy. What you can see is hardworking everyday people sharing their life and work accomplishments. Very upbeat. We call it positive energy in Mandarin. So the Chinese created an app, TikTok, which rewired the brains of a generation of young men and turned them into simps. A process that was then grossly exacerbated by the TikTok to OnlyFans pipeline. In plain words, China weaponized simping and then deployed it against the West, while moving to protect their own population from the blowback. Simping is a massive problem, but it's also just a symptom of the wider agenda to emasculate young men. An agenda that China has stimulated in the West while shielding itself against the consequences of it back at home, as part of what President Xi Jinping calls the rejuvenization of the nation. China is also banning the presence of effeminate sissy men on television. The Associated Press reports broadcasters must, quote, resolutely put an end to sissy men and other abnormal aesthetics, the TV regulator said, using an insulting slang term for effeminate men, Niang Pao, or literally, girly guns. That reflects the official concern that Chinese pop stars, influenced by the sleek, girlish look of some South Korean and Japanese singers and actors, are failing to encourage China's young men to be masculine enough. Meanwhile, our society and culture is controlled by a pathological, parasitic, progressive oligarchy, a cult of evil that brazenly floods the consciousness of young men with a steady diet of emasculating degeneracy, a process that demoralizes, atomizes, and crumbles from beneath them the traditional pillars of masculinity: family, faith, patriotism, self-respect, and stoicism, while heterophobic, anti-male, anti-white wokeism is being enthroned and sanctified as the official state ideology of the West. Yep. China's taking a different path. While China terminates WeChat accounts run by LGBT college groups, teachers in America make kids perform a pledge of allegiance to the rainbow flag.
In the meantime, I tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he looks around and he goes, oh, that one?
All right, guy. While our leaders continue to inflate a gargantuan debt bubble that makes buying a house unaffordable due to rampant inflation, while telling us that within a decade we'll all be rent serfs, own nothing, and be happy. China's leaders just capped rental prices and limited the legal work week to 40 hours to create more time for families, while also making houses more affordable by offering welfare incentives that reward families for having more kids. Our schools and universities are teaching our young men to hate their own country, to identify as non-binary, to cower in the corner of safe spaces when they hear offensive words. China's schools are creating distinct masculine and feminine school curriculums. They're increasing physical education as an antidote to male feminization to prevent boys from growing up, quote, weak, self-effacing and timid. They're teaching their young men to be patriotic about China's central role in the world and to concentrate on stoic character building in order to inculcate a revolutionary and warlike spirit. Our celebrity role models are encouraging young men to wear dresses and carry handbags, while celebrities that China views as corrosive to its national identity are being completely eliminated from the public realm. China is cracking down on showbiz for polluting society and youth. Our culture teaches kids that having children makes your life boring, kills the planet and ruins your career. While after having ended its one-child policy, China is now offering financial incentives for families to have 3 kids and is extending paid parental leave. Our cultural institutions denigrate marriage as a traditionalist trap that deprives young people of the thrill of hypergamous hedonism and casual hookups. Divorce rates continue to skyrocket. While in China, the CCP will require unmarried men and women to attend festivals where they'll be told to seek partners for marriage. Our militaries are training new recruits to embrace drag queen shows, take part in diversity-inspired LGBT flag-waving hikes, and espouse self-loathing critical race theory. While China's military operates schemes that entice school children and young men to practice mortar training and build AI killer robots.
Chinese military recruitment ad. Masculine, patriotic, makes you want to serve your country. Heavily masculine. Guns, helicopters, tanks.
It begins in California.
American recruitment ad.
Girl raised by 2 moms.
Soft, LGBTQ.
Although I had a fairly typical childhood, took ballet, played violin, I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age, eventually standing at the altar to marry my other mom. I I'd spent my life around inspiring women.
Silicon Valley has rigged its algorithms to reward young men with dopamine for embracing mental illness, emotional incontinence, and dysfunctional psychosis as some kind of trendy badge of honor, while China's internet authority is cracking down on social media companies that take young men away from life-affirming IRL activities. They're limiting addictive internet use by restricting online sessions to 30 minutes at a time, while halting approval for online video games. Make no bones about it. The progressive oligarchy in the West and the CCP in the East are both using authoritarian methods of population control to strive towards their vision of the perfect society. The key difference is that in the West, such methods have been deployed to subvert the family structure, the patriarchy, and the self-determination of the native population. While in China, such methods are now being deployed to bolster all those institutions in an effort to strengthen and secure the future of their native population. China is building an army of chads, while the West is building an army of weakling, effeminate simps. When the next great war kicks off, who do you think will have the advantage?
Interesting, right? I've talked on this channel before about masculinity, and masculine men are what push the world forward. They're the ones that build societies, they protect the home. You know, you need masculine men for the world to function properly. You know, I think men and women have their proper roles, and women, I believe, are meant to support men, and they have their place because women are important, but men are the ones that take the risk. They go out there and conquer the world. They dominate. Men want to build. But when you have a society where men are addicted to pornography, they have no purpose. They're addicted to dopamine and quick pleasures. They have no purpose. They're being feminized. You start to see society crumble. Divorce rates are horrible in the West. Increase in suicides and depression, anxiety. You know, these things are important. Teaching men, young boys, to be men. So when you have a country like China who's really trying to dominate the world, obviously they know something that a lot of our Western societies don't, which is that you need masculine men. So now both countries, like Paul said, are authoritarian in their methods. However, China knows the benefit of having masculine men. Now, when it comes to Japan, I will say, as a foreigner looking in, there is a stereotype that many Asians are weak and many Asian men are feminized, because if you look at K-pop, if you look at a lot of famous Japanese or Asian men, they look very feminine. They don't look tough, or, you know, that they don't look like they can handle business, you know, and that's not a diss. But realistically, look in Japan now, do you honestly think that Japanese men are strong enough to defend their country if they were to go to war? Are Japanese men confident enough to talk to women? Are Japanese men confident to stand up for what's right and not be a mindless sheep, and to, you know, be masculine and lead the women? Because women desperately want to follow men who are righteous and who are doing the right thing and who are confident. And now you see China's doing all of this to try to take over the world and be the #1 world superpower. What I want the Japanese to really think about is consider the condition of your men. There's a phrase, I forgot where it's from, but they said you can tell the condition of a country by what the men are doing. Could you look at Japan? Could you look at America? Look at your men, look at what they're doing, and honestly say that these men are doing what's right? Or these men are leading the country properly? These men can defend us properly? That's just something to think about. So if you guys like this video, please smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Also hit that bell as well to get notified whenever we post a video. Arigatou gozaimasu. Minasan. じゃあね。